Start about hearing the performance community development needs and submission of timely development block grants to the G applications for 2025 program year. Is there anybody here to speak to this? Second, anybody here to speak on the city of Corvallis community development needs and submission of the community development block grant applications for the 2025 program year? Last call, anybody here to speak to the city of Corvallis community development needs?
I'm sorry, I cannot hear.
Development block grant 62 applications for 2025.
Others don't
This is
hear.
the community development.
Yes, community development block grant. I'm here to speak to that.
What is that?
What we just got the fire trucks for our grant.
I just hope that within that $15 million grant, there will be a public bathroom open for 24/7.
Here.
Within the 22 million or 15 million. It's needed. It's needed a long time. So I hope that that's included in the plan.
Anybody else speak to this?
Hi, I'd like to follow up on that. I'm Dr. Pamela Pullen. How are you all? There is a public restroom, for example, in Skinny Atlas, you can see it. And for a little while, even Grace Church had a porta potty. You know, we really need this included in your wonderful grant.
Thank you. Okay, all right, now I'll close the public hearing. Now we'll call orders.
Councilmember Merker.
Here.
Councilmember Lane.
Here.
Councilmember Conley. Here. Councilmember Carpenter. Here. Councilmember Beckwith.
Present.
Councilmember Michaels.
Here. You're all rise.
United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
All right, presentations and recommendations. First, we have Matt Whitman, my right, we talk about the Fulton County Housing and Homeless Coalition. He's got a report he wants to share. This Wayne asked to have this updated so the council can be aware of what's going on as from the study that we had next door. Mr. Whitman is puts a lot into the community. Argue that maybe with not everybody in here, but nobody has gotten more to the homeless as just the women has trying to organize and orchestrate. Sad meetings of people and being attacked and it's difficult sometimes, but we do appreciate everything you do and everything it just does. As a boy, still. Oh, that was great. Yes.
Good evening, yeah, my name is Matt Whitman. I'm the executive director of the Rural Health Institute of New York, and for about a year and a half, I served as the chair for the Housing and Homeless Coalition of Portland County. So, as I said, we have recently released a report about how things went at the Grace Space, which was the daytime center for homeless individuals in our community. It's open at Grace Presbyterian Church from November 1st to April 30th of this year. I believe everyone was sent the report. I'm just going to kind of go over some of the key things of how it went, how we organized the Grace Space, a little bit about the Housing and Homelessness Coalition, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. So just a little background, the Housing and Homelessness Coalition was kind of formed out of a group of community-based organizations that had been meeting for probably a year before we officially became a coalition. In fall of 2023, my organization was asked to do a landscape analysis of kind of the current state of what we knew about the housing and homelessness crisis here in Portland County. Out of that report, we produced a series of recommendations, 7 recommendations that are outlined in this report as well. One of which was the former coalition, but the seventh recommendation was to create a daytime center for unhoused individuals in the community, really acknowledging things that were happening at the library at that time, and just a lack of place for people to be during the day. So the coalition adopted our 7 strategies, and we really set about trying to pursue the idea of opening a daytime space here in Portland to match the code blue period where the warming center is open at the Salvation Army. So, you know, this happened really quickly. We approved all these recommendations in, I believe, June of 2024. Set about trying to figure out what this was gonna look like. Luckily, Grace of the Holy Spirit Church came forward and offered use of their space, so we were in the basement area of Grace of the Holy Spirit Church. And raised all of the money, to outfit the space, put the staffing together all in a pretty short time, so we could open on November 1st. In the end, we raised $135,000 from local fundraising efforts, so community groups, individual donors, a lot of the churches donated, and then 2 small grants that we wrote for as well. That supported the staffing of the space, also, you know, all the supplies and different things that we need to outfit the space. So when we were open, we were open 11 to 6:30, Monday through Friday. And again, in alignment with the code blue period at Salvation Army, so folks can go to Salvation Army at night, so we were open Monday through Friday. We offered laundry services. There was phone charging stations in the those days as well, but people were welcome. In fact, you know, we wanted people to be in the space. We had a really small staff that was supported by community-based organizations, so key partners involved were Catholic APCO. But in the end, we had about 11 community-based organizations that came into the space regularly to offer service to folks as well, which I think was one of the key things that we learned in running the space is by having a centralized location where, you know, all the service providers can come in, offer mental health services, substance use supports, getting access to housing services. That was a key part of what we tried to offer at the Grace Space. During this period, we also wanted to learn more about the populations. When we did our landscape analysis, one of the key things that we learned is that the data, especially local data, was kind of all over. So it's really hard to say what the needs of the population were, how many people we were talking about. So we did a lot of different things while running the space to try to learn as much as possible to inform future recommendations and also potentially future spaces. So we conducted a series of interviews with unhoused folks as we were developing the survey. We routinely administered surveys to the population, and we had a pretty robust check-in system that asked about different topic areas as we opened the space. So over the course of the 6 months, and again, all this is going to be laid out in our report. I just know it's really long. I'm trying to summarize as much as possible. We had over 250 unique individuals utilize the Grace Space from November 1st to April 30th. On any typical day, especially later on, we had about 40 to 50 unique people coming in and out of the space on any given day. You know, at any given time, there's probably 20 to 30 people in the space. You know, we asked a lot of questions about the needs of the population. You know, the most commonly reported disability was mental health. Second most commonly was substance use, but there was a lot of co-occurring instances of those 2 things as well amongst the population. One of the key things we asked, you know, I know this is something that always goes around, but most of the individuals in the space have been in Portland County for more than a year. Most of them have been here for more than 5 years. Very few people reported being here for under a year. So these are folks that have been for a decent amount of time. Most of them have been unhoused for pretty short amounts of time, some longer, but are definitely struggling with different barriers. You know, one thing we've heard a lot of, you know, people need birth certificates and other ID to get access to services. They choose those things, the process of getting them. So kind of working through all those different barriers, trying to get access to mental health and substance use services, especially housing. So Catholic Charities came in on a regular basis to try to get people into housing programs. CAPCO offered a pop-up clothing closet of their family essentials program, so giving away a lot of clothing items and other essentials. So we, have a lot of donations from community-based organizations. Jane Murray, I think, gave away over 1,000 hygiene items in the space over the course of 6 months. We provided food. We tried to have lockers, so storage is a big issue for the population. I'll be honest, we never quite figured out the locker situation, but we did offer other storage that was available, especially in the last 3 months. My team, I have a full-time harm reduction staff of 3 individuals where they're basically every day offering substance use supports, and they're still doing continuing outreach now over the summer. So again, this was intended to be a pilot program. So it was always intended to be open for the 6 months from November to April, for us to figure out what a space would need, if we were going to look for a longer term kind of daytime space, what the needs of the population are, how to work as a coalition to make this happen. There were, as I said, a lot of organizations involved, a lot of contributions beyond just the money we raised to hire the staff and to do all the other things. And there's probably over $100,000 in in-kind support offered by other organizations, including mine, to make it all happen. The church played a critical role in making all this happen and allowing us to kind of use their facilities. I think in terms of that, the layout, it wasn't ideal, just because of the kind of layout of the church, the basement of the church, but we made it work. And I think offered a lot of supports to people coming in and out of the gray space. So as I said at the beginning, we raised $135,000. We spent about $90,000 of that running the space for 6 months, which included the staffing, supplies, outfitting the space from the beginning. So we have about $45,000 left over from all of our donors that we intend to put towards future endeavors, whether that's another space or other programs for the homeless population, to continue the work of the Housing and Homelessness Coalition. So again, I know this is a really long report, but we really tried to capture everything that went into designing the space, outfitting the staff, all the challenges we had. Staffing was definitely a challenge. Staff and staff burnout. We also highlighted the things that didn't go so well. So all the incidents and everything that we tracked, all the out in our report. We didn't try to hide anything. I think we did see benefits from having the gray space in terms of calls in the downtown area. I think especially at the library, calls were down from law enforcement in relation to the year prior. But all that's outlined in the report in terms of everything that we were tracking, a new set of recommendations, how much it costs, all the community partners are all in the report. So just wanted to give you kind of a quick overview of how things went. One of the big questions, obviously, I've been asked a lot, and I'm sure you will ask me as well, what comes next? What are we gonna do this winter? Obviously, the Salvation Army is going to continue to run the warming center, and that will be open starting November-ish. Currently, I can say, my organization, Rural Institute of New York, is pursuing the purchase of a building that we hope will serve as a daytime space similar to the gray space, not exactly like it, but it's gonna have similar opportunities for people to come and just eat during the day, get access to resources, because I think that was one of the critical things that we learned is centralizing where people can be and then allowing service providers to come to them instead of making people go to all the service providers was kind of a key thing that we want to make sure continues into this next season and hopefully into the future as well. Really, that's the big need, during the day. There's really no place for people to be, including the night, but it's during the code blue period, the warming center and so forth. So that's part of our plan, and that's probably what we'll be using that extra funding for in terms of, we'll need some other funding as well, but that's the initial thing. I'm sure that there are other questions about, how things went, how some of our future plans that I'd be happy to answer at this time.
Let's start with this one. We have individuals that not to live inside at all. How do we accommodate those individuals?
So,
You were taking questions, we can't hear. Yeah, we can't
Can you please move up? I'm a very loud speaker.
So in terms of how do we accommodate folks that don't want to come into any of the spaces?
Well, they wish not to reside inside at all.
I would say I don't probably have a direct answer to that question. I think, the spaces that we are looking at is a great space, that we can't force people. It was, they could come and go throughout the day, and we saw that happen. It was a low threshold environment, so we try to keep the barrier as low as possible for people to come in, to encourage that. So I think that's one answer to the question is, how do we design the spaces that we do want people to utilize and actually accommodate them and be welcoming to them, and that's something we really try to do from the great space, obviously within limits. So that's my immediate answer, is that gonna work for all people? Not necessarily, but that's probably gonna work for the majority.
I recognize that it's a very complicated issue, and everyone, like we're all complicated people independently, so. So everyone can put a blanket. I think the questions towards the successes that's come out of this are important. And, what things would be done differently on the next level, but we saw tremendous help, tremendous, success stories on being able to help people. We had a program was open. Part of the police, the emergency medical stuff that they had, so. Yeah, those are all positive.
Yeah, and when you sit down and count, like, I was seeing quite an improvement over the last several years. Basically, where Chris introduced this issue. I certainly want to thank you for taking the lead on this, assisting the city, helping us try to get through these areas of concern. And hopefully helping these individuals find some meaning to their existence.
Yeah, well, the new facility. People been all year long.
That is what we are intending, but I think similar hours to what we saw at the precinct, so probably still Monday through Friday. Similar hour time, 11 to 4, 5-ish is what we're thinking. But yeah, summer is, can be just as dangerous as the cold. And plus just as many health problems as being out in the cold, so I mean, that's a big, right now, there is no place, especially in summer, for people to be, because there's no warming center every night. So we do intend as much as we can for it to be open year round, so it's within some parameters, because, there's the resources involved to run something, 24/7 is not quite where we're at as a community. So we're still intending this to be a day space, but yes, hopefully open year round.
You also,
I'd like to set up a time to just chat one time at some point, when that's right up there. I can follow, track up with that. That's right.
That's all great.
Appreciate
again, thank you, Matt, we appreciate it. It's exciting. Looking towards the next technology.
Thank you.
All right, next presentation of the community solar program.
And just to let everyone know, I did print out the actual slides that you're referring to with the filing on the desk, because we don't have a way to televise them here, so thank you for your patience with us. So this is right behind them, maybe. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, there you go. Anybody else? I did a couple of them, so.
Just move that way a little bit, so there, put it right there. Okay, oh, yeah, there it is. That outline, and you'll be kind of facing.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Some of this is important, public to get a hold of.
Of course, and I brought some flyers and some business cards that I'll leave, for the public, if you guys want to grab some. So yeah, thank you very much for having me. I'm representing Solar Simplified today, as VP of Sales and Marketing, Sasha Rebecca. Been with the company since inception for the last 6 years. And today I want to talk to you about new solar municipality program, which we've been running since inception of the company. New York, around the state, but currently active in 5 states, campaign very successfully with does municipalities. And we work from with municipalities of various sizes, whether it's villages to large cities like the city of Buffalo, for example. So yeah, second slide. So today we'll talk briefly about what's community solar. What the benefits are, solar is like we are and what we do. A few case studies of municipalities that we have been working with, and then next steps. You guys, I think this is the valuable program. Then I will proceed and open up to discussions and questions. But if we want to interrupt me, if you want, and I can go a little bit more detail. Happy to do so. So yes, what's community solar? So community solar is a state regulated program that guarantees savings on your electric bills. The state regulated, the state entity that is overseeing the program is the Department of Public Services, in collaboration with NYSERDA, which is the Research and Development Agency, Energy Research and Development Agency, New York. So yeah, the program allows homeowners and businesses to benefit from solar energy without having to install panels on the property. So yeah, the key here is that you don't need to own how a suitable rooftop to participate in solar on the renter and homeowner on the apartment can participate. So yeah, by our estimates, around 85% of the US households cannot put solar on their roof for a variety of reasons, but renting being probably the biggest population within the shaded area or in particular for so community solar solves this and allows people to connect to local solar projects and participate in renewable energy. You keep your same utility, same service. There's no change to your home or your property. The only difference is you'll start seeing discounts on your electricity, the same electric bills that you're receiving from your utility, whether it's an ISA or National Grid. So yeah, there's no catch. It's a state design program to expand access to renewable energy while lowering costs to residents. So that simply the state wants you to participate and offering an incentive in the form of incentives. So yeah, in simple terms, how does community solar work? In the local solar projects, solar farms, there are several moving powers in Portland and overall the states. Those projects that produce the energy, they would then come directly to the utility grid. And then NYSEG, the National Grid, applies the produced energy to customer accounts that are participating in the form of solar credits. So yeah, like I mentioned, it's the same exact bill that you're already receiving from your utility. You'll start seeing couple of new line items that shows how much energy was produced on your behalf, how much that energy is worth, and the discounts as a negative dollar amount, which will reduce community solar benefits. So obviously the main benefits is guaranteed savings for any regular income households. It's a 10% discount in all solar credits. For any household that can show proof of being a low moderate income household, that discount increases to 20%. And in fact, every project that we operate, we make sure to reserve at least 20% of the capacity for low moderate. So that's important to us as a company, and we focus on a high or some LOI population.
And I just wanna stop.
Yes, please.
1 second, and I don't know how many people were able to listen, but when Rich was talking about one of the reasons we were able to get the fire truck from the CDBG grant is because over 54% of our city is low and moderate income. So as we've been looking through different options for community solar for, our city. We were really impressed that this particular company actually has a much higher discount for low and moderate income households. Most just do 10% across the board and don't recognize that. And the fact that they do, I thought was particularly important, and I wanted just to bring that to everyone's attention.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's, yeah, great. So yeah, the next benefit is, there's no fees of any kind. You can simply participate. Again, this program exists to encourage people to participate in renewables. So yes, there's no fees, participation fees, there's no cancellation fees, or anything. Like I mentioned, there's no installation. By participating, you get priority registration, in one of our solar projects, with the NYSEG national grid. You reduce your carbon footprints and support clean environments. And like I said, it's completely risk-free. You can cancel at any time. Our customer agreements are month to month, so we believe we might be providing a great service and offer people to long-term projects. So yes, so for the municipality, obviously this is a benefit that's provided to constituents. And in the world of very recent energy crisis, it seems to be very much top of mind for a lot of people. So yeah, the municipality itself can also participate, municipal accounts, individual person as well, and save 10% just like any other customer. So yeah, also, NextEra has various climate certification grants, and we've worked with the majority of our New York and municipalities towards getting those grants and certifications, and the vast majority of them have achieved those without help. And also, just supporting the New York State's carbon neutrality goals. And lastly, there's a small financial incentive for participating. On top of the grants, it's called city contributions, $50 for every. So a few case studies, like I said, we've been working with various municipalities in New York State since our construction 6 years ago. Some neighboring municipalities, so that's why I think those two. So Portlandville, we've been working with them since 2023. We have over 300 people accounts there. And we generated over $100,000 for participants in Portlandville since that period, and Portlandville received $15,000 in city contributions. So yeah, another example is Manlius. We have over 800 enrolled accounts there. We've been working with them for less than a year, so even though more accounts are enrolled, we still working to generate value. Savings and over $40,000 in city contributions. So that just kind of shows the general success rate and general interest once we actually roll out a campaign in municipalities. Like I mentioned, we work with dozens of New York municipalities, including large cities like Niagara Falls and Buffalo, and are servicing thousands of households in the state of New York. So yeah, the next slide is just in quotes that I thought was very relevant. Ron Martino was actually Glenn Lancaster was the first municipality that enrolled in our program. Ron Martino has been a great champion, and upon his retirement as a supervisor, he sent us to really home base. So yeah, a little bit about ourselves. So let's define, our focus is on accessibility, transparency, and mainstream adoption. Solar energy, by working directly with local municipalities and focusing on consumer education. We like to these types of meetings ourselves and collaborate with municipalities rather than some other company will go door to door and scan the area mailers. We don't operate like that. Collaborate and deliver the community. So yeah. So in the box, there, kind of a few key points in why we we're the best suited partner for we have media capacity. Obviously, that's a limiting factor. There's a limited number of projects. There's a limited number of spots. But we have a whole portfolio of projects, and National Grid available today, and
in the final for, next year, or two. We have a track record of success, dozens of successful musical campaigns, with, you know, said, hundreds of thousands of participants, and we've helped, you know, those municipalities reach, the NYSERDA designations and grants as well. We are also the only company in the industry that can get zero players with any regulatory bodies, and we credit our unwavering commitment to customer satisfaction, to that. And again, we focus on relationships, building long lasting relationships with municipalities, and providing great service. So yeah, last slide, basically next steps. If you guys are interested and think this is a valuable program, you would approve, the municipality program, we would sign, any agreements, you would say. So it's simple, margin engagement letter. And then we would execute the campaign, you know, we would present resources, make our resources available, we fully cover all the costs, of the engagements, you know, there can be like mailers, it could be webinars, in-person musical sessions, tabling, sponsoring local events, any of the above. Whatever you guys think is the best way to present this information to your residents, since you know best. And then, you know, residents and businesses that choose to participate simply enroll in the program and start seeing the benefits, and the savings directly in their bills. And then the municipality receives the certain contributions that we mentioned, and again, if you choose to, participate in a certain or apply for a certain grants and their engagement. On that. So yeah, that concludes my presentation. I'll open up to questions.
Thank you. I think it's important to recognize that we kind of want to people going door to door, not going door to door, and they're not authorized to go door to door. They want it, not used to it. Scammers, you call them. And so I think it's important to know, and it is month to month, that you're aware. There is another solar program that we have in Portland that's sold out. We built up on the hill, this is sold out in the hospital. So this is gonna something for the rest of it. We're gonna like that, keep it at 11%. Right. So.
What do you think they want?
That's a great question. So like I mentioned, the participants, don't advance anything, the municipality does not advance anything. Simply produce the energy and sell it to the utility, and that's how we get compensated. But to be able to participate in the community solar provider, we have to pass on the benefits of savings to the participants. And that's, so that's the benefit that we're required to provide, but that's how we make money. Nice, produce a meeting.
Thank you.
I got a couple, on page 7, comparison. Manlius, Portland. Manlius has more than double the enrolled accounts as Portlandville. Why is it the same listing of just over 100,000 students?
Because Portlandville joined the program in 2023, so it's just been running longer. And Manlius has just been under a year. So even though there's more participants, savings are slightly below intention.
So Portlandville started first.
Yeah, Portlandville just, the program is actually.
Is that the same reason for the? Yeah, in the civic contributions as well, like the.
So the civic contributions are per enrollment. So, you know, it says $50 per enrollment, so over 300 enrolled accounts, it's 15,000. There's 800, so it's only 45,000. Yes.
The panels we see up now.
So I think there's several projects in Portland.
Are you going to add?
No, we're not proposing to build any additional farms, we just happen to have a project here already. That is mostly built by Portlandville residents. In fact, we actually have quite a few, we have almost 100 people in Portland that are already been involved in the community quite a bit. We are a member of the Chamber of Commerce for over 4 years now. We've attended the showcase and sponsored that event as well, so we quite involved in the area. So there's people like Bob Hyde, who actually made the introduction to Mayor Steve. He's the CEO and president of the chamber. He's customary.
It's unlimited, how many people can sign up, because or is your structure and a cap a certain household? Because that's all your infrastructure.
It is limited, to project's capacity.
Do you know what that is?
So we have a portfolio of projects available, today. We have a project in Peru, we have a project,
Here, Courtland, do you know what our cap's gonna be?
so
You get 10,000 households, are we out, or? No,
right.
where's your cap?
So again, it's just based on availability, so you don't need to be, in Portland, to participate in the projects, sell their house, as long as you're within the same utility, you can participate, so the project just needs to be within ISA or National Grid, whichever. So as long as you have an active account, you can participate, and, currently we have probably, 800 spots available in National Grid, and 1,200 spots available in ISA. For this year, and we have more projects coming online in Q1 and Q2 next year.
So, we don't have.
Is that,
Say it one more time.
so is that just within Portland, those figures, or is that your entire capacity?
That's the capacity of it.
So 800 households will take 10,
Yeah, so. You guys don't have any nice to go?
That's it.
Yes. Must have.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's gas.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Understood.
And they fully qualify that 800 you mentioned. So is that throughout your entire system or 800 in a city?
That's 800 that's available to.
Effectively.
Going fast.
Yes, it's essentially first come, first served, so once they run. You know, take that capacity, that's actually outside. But like I mentioned, there will be more projects that I know.
Do the panels produce more electricity? Don't you think they both?
Sorry, I said.
The panels right now actually produce more electricity than the infrastructure allows them to send over.
I'm sorry.
Probably a better way to say it, that sometimes the voltage can't handle.
Right, it spikes out.
There's energy, very good.
Right, so there's no, so you're not switching suppliers when you just the solar, if that's the question.
No, that,
How do you use that?
So your kilowatts, putting out more than the grid can handle, the national grid is really set up, but it's perfectly as it is, but you're working most of the time about that.
Yeah, like, don't case it, which is. All right, I mean,
Those ways that you're having.
Just a quick question, I mean, if it was 20 from 10 to 20%
Yep.
income, is it using the federal income guidelines?
yes,
What NYSERDA uses?
right, that's exactly, we basically submit the documentation to NYSERDA, once they approve it, it's the same, yeah. Yes, but you.
Is anybody allowed to sign up for this, or do you have to be lower moderate?
No, anybody can, if you regulate income household, it's a 10% discount. On also credits, if you qualify as a low or income household, it's 20% discount. And there's a number of ways to participate, to prove that you're aligned. If you have like a heat or staff participation, things like that, that all involved.
You talked about there being more projects and availability in Q1 and Q2 of 2026. About how many slots are usually in like one of those new like projects? Just to get like an estimate of like what's gonna be available in the future.
Usually 7 to 10 spots per project.
Got it.
And we have 4 to 5 each utility that I mentioned, the national grid is in. So 3 to 4 national grids.
Got it.
Anybody else?
I just have a. It's as more of a clarification in terms of when we move the agenda, that's just a 30-day agreement. Correct?
Yeah, it's just.
So it's 12.
Yeah. That's the most fun thing.
What about on the city level, is there, this
It's also-
we review it?
It's also not, the city, yeah, actually, so the city, you basically sign up as a user as well, and get a 10%. Which would be very nice.
You mentioned yes, yes. Very good, I'll leave them on the data track.
And that explains how someone would sign up.
Right,
We currently have, something similar to where back in Florida. Which we can see just down,
Yeah.
they don't deeply appreciate it.
Yeah, it's very much not the case for a lot of. So, yeah.
Right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, next, we have the proclamation declaring September National Service Dog Month.
Whereas the city of Portland County Council recognizes the joyful and informative power of the canine bond and inclusiveness of all citizens. And whereas service dogs with accredited training empower people with disabilities to live life with greater independence. Whereas in the United States, 70 million adults have disability. Only 16,000 service dogs from accredited training programs exist nationwide. Whereas National Service Dog Month aims to educate our community about the benefits of service dogs, laws protecting their handlers. Whereas the city of Portland continues to work toward becoming an inclusive community in which all citizens and their trained service dogs are embraced. Now therefore be it resolved that the city of Portland recognition of service dogs and the adults and children with disabilities in our community does hereby proclaim September to be National Service Dog Month.
All right, thank you. That's a necessity need for many people, many different emotional to visual and seizures. It's a great, there's great organizations out there that are helpful for everything. Next, the proclamation celebrating Hispanic Latino Heritage Week. Range is here to receive this. They a couple of comments about programs that are things that I've done. Mr. Jewett, I'll read it first and then, well, get it.
Proclamation celebrating the Hispanic Latino Heritage Month. Whereas the city of Portland prides itself on being a city that celebrates culture, seeks to foster connection, ethnic pride, and to enhance the profile of cultural diversity. Whereas the city of Portland seeks to join in observance of September 15th through October 15th, 2025, it's National Hispanic Latino Heritage Month. And whereas Hispanic Latino Heritage Month celebrates the independence days of several Latin American countries, including Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua on September 15th, Mexico on September 16th, and Chile on September 18th. Whereas in addition to Hispanic Latino Heritage Month highlights all the Hispanic and Latino cultures found within our nation, as well as the diversity of contributions of their Hispanic, Latino brothers and sisters to our communities. Now therefore be it resolved that in recognition of the history and heritage of the Hispanic and Latino cultures, celebration of their presence and contributions that enrich our community, Mayor Steve and the County Council proclaim September 15th to October 15th, 2025 as Hispanic Latino Heritage Month, City of Portland.
So I just want to say thank you, first of all. The D word seems to be really bad these days, right? Diversity. There's a lot of pushback on it, and yet we recognize that diversity is not just about race, it's not just about ethnicity, but it's also about accessibility, it's also about veteran status, it's just about anything that you can think of. So I appreciate you, Mayor, I appreciate the council for this proclamation and for taking September 20th and to celebrate the, not just, having the margaritas, which I love, because the Lagos is gonna have some, but it's also about recognizing the histories, the culture, and the contributions of Latinos in the United States, right? So we're gonna have a lot of things happening on campus. There's a lot of events that we're planning. And I just spoke to Eric a little while ago and told him that I have some folks from Syracuse that are gonna come and do have a dominoes tournament, because that's really big. Yeah. It's really big in the Latino countries. So I hope that you will come. And again, I really value this. I really appreciate it. This just goes right along with your support with Juneteenth on a yearly basis, and hopefully this is not the last time, but the first of many to come. So thank you very much.
Excited to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're excited to have an event right around and I think parking lot, we have a lot of fun. Nancy will come down from college, do some things, good food, and we enjoyed it. I can't wait to see that. Incredible.
It's gonna be fun.
So thank you again, thank you. Next on the agenda, we're going to the floor. Ms. Lloyd.
I'm loudest voice. So my name is Sandy Malone. I live on Stewart Place. I've been there for 23 years now. I come here tonight, first of all, I'm gonna take a minute to thank the Rural Health Institute, CAPCO, which I am a board member and a volunteer for all the work they put in, and CAP charities for Grace Space this year. It was a monumental task that they lived up to. And I don't know anyone that had anything bad to say about it, so I just wanted, on behalf of CAPCO, I wanted to say, you know, it was a great year. A learning year. But what I'm really here tonight for is to find out about earlier in the year, the month of June, I accompanied the mayor, the code enforcement and police officers on our ward walk. And I think it's fair to say that some people in the group had their eyes wide open. Especially on Reynolds Avenue, the most famous street, the most famous street in Portland. And so it's 3 months later, at the end of that night, I asked the mayor what his three top priorities for the fifth ward would be. And his first one was, improving the capacity with our students in our developmental students. Well, I'm here to say that 7 days into classes, and it's no better than it was last year. Every night there are fireworks, parties, trash, beer, and so I've tried very hard to come up with an idea, because if there's a problem, we should come with a solution. And I understand, and I'll ask the police chief to verify that our police officers at night have quadrants they patrol. Or in all, they have quadrants. So I'm asking that at this time, that whoever is the quadrant that Owego, Reynolds, Tompkins is on, start patrolling that area very heavily. I know my name is in the book for one of the people that have called. And I can tell you at least 10 people on my street who won't call because they're afraid of retribution. And I brought this to Mr. Conlon, our new alderman. I know he's very aware that we're trying every day to think of things, but it's 8 days. There have been tickets and arrests made, but it's not any better. And so I'm asking for support for the city to bring it about. We have a highly senior citizen area. We have people that work for all hours of the day and night and get up, you know, we have disabled people who fireworks when they go off and the fact that how you disturb them. And so, you know, Reynolds Avenue can't continue. So I don't know when we'll be getting the report on the boardwalks, if there is a report coming. But it would be nice to see what the intention of those were and what's going to happen to fire them off. And I thank you, and as I say, our new alderman has been very responsive to all our needs about this. We're looking forward to some resolution. And I'm available for you. Anyone needs to talk about it. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor and Council. I address you again regarding my concerns over the unfair and outright cruel treatment of people without homes. Last week, Portland City Police and DPW forcibly expelled multiple unhoused from public spaces within the city. This was done with the tacit assent of the mayor and county council. The limited possessions that the people had was literally scooped up and dumped. This account was personally relayed to me by the people whose things were destroyed by city police and DPW. This was not just an abuse of power, but an utter waste of taxpayer funds. People's things were confiscated and destroyed. The legal term would be a government taking without compensation, otherwise known as stealing, and clearly illegal. At least some of the things destroyed were actually necessities, toiletries, blankets, and other things that were distributed to the unhoused by our Portland County Department of Social Services. Our taxpayer monies for things given to assist those in need were wasted, outright stolen, not just from the unhoused, but from the Portland taxpayers' own pockets. The council must end this harassment of unhoused people and fund an equitable and humane solution to the suffering that it has caused. I leave you with a poem. You all know it, but need to take it to heart. It's Emma Lazarus's The New Colossus. Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land. Here at our sea-washed sunset gates shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name, Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand flows worldwide welcome, from lionized command, the air bridge harbor that twin cities reign. Keep ancient lands your storied tongue, cries she with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest tossed to me. I lift my lamp inside the golden door. Thank you.
Last Friday, Young Coleman organized a new meeting at Courthouse Park for house people to be unhoused people. And she had to bring bottled water, but a lot of people brought kids and other things. Seemed like a good way to learn about the problems facing the unhoused. So I went, and these are 3 stories I heard. One youngish woman was living with friends and doing odd jobs on county farm in order to stay close to her young children who were in foster care. DSS took her kids because she didn't have a home. I've got to think it would have been better and cheaper to support her taking care of them herself. Another man had a motel room paid for by the county. He wanted help cleaning it up and asked the manager if his former partner could help him. The manager agreed. Woman came by for 15 minutes. Door was open. When the DSS found out, they threw the man back out on the street. Another man had been living with a friend in Section 8 housing, and he left rather than jeopardize his friend's residence. He was one who was removed recently from Courthouse Park. When he criticized an offer for officer or harassing the people there, the officer responded, "At least I'm not homeless." The system seems to be broken. It's time to try something new. One idea would be to let the unhoused camp without fear of being chased away. Maybe behind Wendy's along the river. It seems to be public property and it's out of sight. We could gradually add infrastructure like toilets, clean water, and shelter from the elements. But we should act fast as winter's coming. One last comment, when I was riding by Portland Ave, I saw the little yellow signs for herbicides, being applied in the rocket, gardens. And I just recall, my brother-in-law passed away this spring from exposure to Agent Orange. And of course, people didn't worry in those days, but he had in his nursing home room a sign that said, "Don't worry, it only kills plants." That would only kill plants. Thank you.
Mr. Baldwin, Dr. Baldwin.
Hi.
I'm Dr. Pamela Tolan, Professor Emeritus from Johns Hopkins University, former professor at SUNY Cortland. I taught there for 17 years and at Hopkins for 14. My husband and I returned to this wonderful, beautiful area of Cortland when we retired. We kept our home. Anyway, I wanted to say a few things to you that perhaps might be helpful. I would like to invite you this Friday to meet at the fountain. The house and the house are, we're interested in sharing ideas, are invited to share solutions at the fountain and the courthouse park. We will divvy up into small groups, write down helpful solutions, ideas for about 20 minutes, clipboards and supply. And then we'll discuss these ideas and decide how to proceed, implement ways. Just personal citizens can help out in addition to the wonderful coalition and your work at Making Young House. Let's see. Do share if you come, your ideas and everything. If you have an extra umbrella, terrible rainstorms that evening and here, rain jackets, ponchos. If you happen to have a bike, men in a house to do work, they just don't have a house. And they need to get to work all the way over to Marietta and other places. So we would appreciate that. I'd also like to say that the Unhoused would love to be invited to a coalition meeting, Matt. Oh, I guess he left. Anyway, it's good to hear from them, and I understand he did a survey, and that's really great, but one needs to meet and greet these people, perhaps the fountain, perhaps at Loaves and Fishes, open to anybody who wants to come in. Just think of prophets and others who sat with outcasts and broke bread. Think of one who had no place to lay his head at night. And just, they're wonderful people, they're clean, there are showers, there are laundry facilities available Monday through Thursday at Loaves and Fishes and also Salvation Army. They have to bring their own supplies, so if you have some to donate, you can always donate them to Loaves and Fishes or to the office at 10 to 1 every Monday through Friday at the Grace Church. And I want to remind you, some of you knew who Reverend Bill Greer was. Holly was the head of the YWCA, his wife. He opened his church 24 hours a day for anybody. Come in, pray, meditate, sleep on our pews. I wondered this summer if he'd have that available, especially at night during these horrible torrential storms, lightning, hail. There was a hail advisory last week. Take shelter. It would have been wonderful. And I thank you for listening.
And what was what time about that?
I said, no, everyone's welcome. Yeah, that's great. And you can tell us about your homeless experience, Mayor. We appreciate that.
Thank you. Everybody else will move forward. It's about the finance report.
Okay, this one's financials, are included. The year to date was, done by middle of last week and released total, so we didn't capture the tail end of the, tax. Receipts that have gotten, the end last week, and so our revenues will be a little bit better than they are, represented. So they're still waiting for the quarter 2 sales tax from the county, nearly $2 million. So we'll see that. That's it. Other than that, we are low, basically on both our revenues and expenses, a little further. My revenues than I'd like us to be, but we're following up on a number of things with that. Time. For credit card processing, we are in the process of consolidating. We've got 4 different means of processing credit cards, or people want to make their payments online. We found a way to do it for a little bit less expense to our constituents, and to be able to actually take credit card payments at City Hall. We're going to be implementing that over the next several months. We actually started the training on it this morning, so I think that'll be nice. Particularly for people who are communicating with the city clerk and the post department, it takes the minimum charge from $3.99 down to $2.50. It's not a huge savings, but every little bit helps with things, so that'll be good for folks. And we get that implemented as quickly as we're able. You'll see on, the agenda that we have, receive and file of the reissued 2023 financial report that's put online at the end of last week. Again, this is just the final follow through when our auditors went through, they agreed with 2021 and 2022. We received and filed those of those, and this is the final adjustments to 2023. I've got a little bit of a summary here. I also have in my office, if anybody would like to go line by line through it, I've highlighted all the differences in the cap, and I'm trying to talk through those with anybody who's interested. We are in the process of uploading documents still for our 2024 audit. That's carrying on. We'll have most of that should be uploaded by the end of September. And hopefully we'll be able to work with them to get that audit result before the end. We've just recently switched over to procurement cards from credit cards. That's going well. So far, the department's been really good about working with us on that process and how we do the actual payment processing. We've just done that once now, so of course, anytime something's new, it takes a little bit of work to get everybody online with that. We appreciate their patience and we think it's gonna work out well. It's more convenient both for departments and also for all of our smaller vendors around the city to make sure that they're never beyond the 10/30 for payment. So it'll also avoid any kind of fees on things for right now. I've got a summary attached of all the grants and capital projects sent over from TOLA. So there's a whole series of those that are ready to take some time to look through, at your leisure. We've been working, with TOLA as well, coming back through, so every time we periodically once we back closed out grants, the various grant agencies will go back through and audit those. We've been working with TOLA on a number of those going back and just making sure that all the documentation was properly accounted for. So there have been a number of grants that we've recently just bumped up with CDBG and got those all finally closed out. And during that process, we've gone back into some other older grants that had kind of just lingered and not been dealt with. We were able to work with the Department of Transportation. There was a grant from, I think the original portion of it was 2017. It's for the pedestrian bridge over to Gaiman Park. That had been granted, I think it was 2017. I apologize, I don't have it in front of me. But none of the reimbursements that I can put in on that, the city had spent back in the early years of that grant, $325,000. So we were able to get those in and secure that, and we're viewing it as a inactive grant, and they were about to take $2 million back. So we were able to get the reimbursement that we wrote, keep the grant open, and keep moving out of that project. There are a couple of other ones we've been digging out in the past, and just making sure that we're getting all the documentation that we're required to do. We were very successful getting the full reimbursements that we're getting out there, and then just making sure that we'll be all the requirements going forward. So that's all I have for this slide. And I'm going to have any questions.
Questions? I got a motion to receive the file of my language subject, 25 public financial events. President, my phone. All in favor? There is a motion to receive the file, the reissue 2023 in the financial audit report. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Here's the report. Real quick, negotiations started with the police, fire department, and CSEA, and wastewater, is coming soon. With the wastewater, I assume they pretty good, I'm sure, and what proposal, Joe McMahon, who just did that real quick, Joe McMahon is always, treated for a, and the department down there. Done great things already, it's great progress. Got some, new ways, and that's a lot of good ideas over there, so. You get a chance, I'm going to reach out and go over there, talk about those good things, and, as you stop by, Joe, and take that acknowledgement. Thank you, Mayor. So David, we assigned that in part, that was a great program, and it's at the beginning of our signs. Yeah, city. parts in, city entrances, city streets. Tennis court dedication, for small math, Mr. Michaels was talking about that, was more. I think that kids were under his tutelage at the high school, under tennis, and, it was a great event, great impact in the community in many ways. It's great to have that tribute for him. Was able to attend the old timers man Justice Park, they did a music program out there, that was kind of nice to do. On future announcements, paving, will start Monday for Central, Clayton, Haskell, and Orchard. We'll be ready for that. It'll take a week to close it up, so by Friday, kids come off at that time, we'll be able to address, their safety. I'm sure that's all going to be great. So I have some more questions for
Had a fun time last week, like to thank Chief Guerrero and the Chief Q for setting up. I went around with Officer Joe Peters for the day. But a different perspective, looking at pro police officers. Joe Peters was exceptional for me and learned a lot. So I want to thank him, and I plan on doing it again at night to see the difference and what helped. Two, we had a very success story in my ward, working with Gerald Darling, for trees in our area on 76 Hanlon. There was 100-year-old silver maple that was not in good shape, in the midst of power cuts. National Grid didn't think it was bad at first, with Gerald's pushing, had to take a second look, and it came down today, saving the taxpayer about $8,000 for removal of that tree, and it turned out to be hollow. So it's a good thing it came down, and so thank Gerald for his due diligence, National Grid for taking care of it out there for support. So that's what I did.
All right, thank you. We go to the board for the wall.
I continue to get positive comments about Main Street and how people like the way it looks. And the flow of traffic is really good. I spoke to the chief earlier about, the section of road between Delaware, Broadway, Tompkins, out of town, at a Walmart, especially at night. They're just racing, it's like, it's a drag strip. It's a drag strip, and it's not the college kids. It's, I mean, it's happening all summer long. The louder somebody can make their vehicle down, the better, I guess, for that. Not for any of us living on that and the pockets for. So the chief is on it, and hopefully it will get better. And
Thank you, Ward 5.
So we'll follow with you afterwards after you look up to Mr. Wyatt yourself about some questions about streetlights and tree breaks over the fence board. So I mean, we'll recommend that right now. I'm also working on putting together a board meeting on the fence board to help introduce myself to folks. Something else on that. And last, I just want to echo Sandy's concerns. I know I got some positive feedback about police work last week, shutting down house party run runs. It's always an issue again. I know it's kind of sick with them, but I'd love to have a conversation about how we can try and increase patrols or, to help out. Chief, so that'd be great.
The second, all the way up to school.
Everybody, want to go back to school tomorrow, we're going to do some nice streets down this summer, we're going to keep that in all summer, and I'm going to be occupied in this. To be kind of.
Those that have been over to DBW lately, the department's done a fantastic job cleaning up the area where you reflected your debris. It was pretty nice day, season control, but it's landed finally done, and I think the mayor, as well as our DPW had for spearheading this. Also attended the, Human Park, it was running for the new sign. That was well received by, he was, I mean, all, basically all family, I think, very nice day. High school, Portland High School. And I played this dedicated new flag, in honor of Bob Walrat, the head forward. Seth Walrat, presented that flag in honor of his dad. And I have to say that both of my sons, played under, Mr. Walrat, and he brought, many events, as well as, awards and flags, that high school recognizing, the efforts of those tennis players. But it was, a big event of ours, quite fun. Thank everyone for participating. Especially our high school superintendent, Bob Wilkins, also, there, with the event, so, thank you for everyone for participating. The mayor was also there, taking in and, being there as part of, representing the city. Well, thank you, that's all I have.
Actually, Bob Walrat was the guidance counselor, guidance counselor at the high school, and since 10, wonderful name.
Very good, yes, and for those that didn't know. Very dedicated.
Agenda item number 1, contract agreement with Solar Simplify. Offer the states that use solar programs to use residents.
Resolved that the city of Portland Town Council hereby authorizes mayor city for its designating to enter into an agreement with Solar Simplified, home community solar program subscriptions, residents within the city of Portland. Be it further resolved that the common council hereby authorizes mayor Stevie for his designating to enter into a renewable 30-day agreement with Solar Simplified by community solar program savings on eligible electric accounts of the city of Portland.
Motion. Charlie Berger, back with questions on this?
I have just a couple of quick ones. Is there anything about month? Is there anything about a certain time period or whatnot where it's exclusively solar, simplified? And if we were to have someone else come on the market and offer, say, 12% of the base.
To bring it back, bring it back to this group and say, you got it as an offer for 12%, we'll give you
So we could determine that.
This is a rename contract. Based on that, that's the. That's.
Councilmember Barker.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Conlon.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter. Councilmember Beckwith. Councilmember Michaels.
I,
I just want to come back, I missed the approval minutes were later getting out today, 17 plus pages. So I figured it'd be a big push to ask everybody to approve them, so we give everybody time to go back through that, and we'll approve them. At the next meeting, will be, should be, maybe we. That's so.
They are online.
They're posted, but they're depends on the time else. I don't know if they had a chance to read this.
I read them.
Okay, good.
They are amazing.
Okay, good. You know, nothing, even at the vote. Thank you for reading. Okay, so it's agenda item number 2, modify the 2025 adopted budget by $47,000. $5 to reflect revenue and expenditure account adjustments.
Resolved that the city of Portland Common Council does hereby amend the 2025 city budget. The amount of $47,005. It's outlined in the accompanying table. Transferring $8,000 from line for occupancy tax. To the federal professional services. Your upgrades grant program. Transferring $12,000 from the occupancy tax line to the contractual small equipment line. $12,000 for street decorations. transferring $7,500 from account line for sales of equipment to the contractual tools and equipment, sale of a ladder truck. $11,200 transferred from the motor equipment repair line to operating equipment line for an outfit of a K9 vehicle. Transfer of $3,900 from a youth bureau donations line to operating equipment line for some upgrades. And also transferring to that same operating equipment account for subject park upgrades, we amount of $4,405 from the Charlotte Trust. Total application $47,005.
Questions? A second. Questions?
I did want to make one explanation, just in case anyone had questions, because there had been a previous resolution regarding the work grant that had said that we would pay, the Sarah Associates for their work on that, prosecuting trust. And before we knew what we were getting for occupancy tax, in our conversation development of veterans and occupancy tax, to the first step, grant an application for the community and maintain the fund and insurance trust for other needs in the future. So, just I just wanted to make that clear because I didn't so we had, that specific resolution about it previously, and just to make sure that's video ready.
Okay.
Councilmember Harper. Aye. Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Conlon. Aye. Councilmember Carpenter. Aye. Councilmember Beckwith. Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Agenda item number 3, approve special event permits for 9/11 ceremony at Woodhouse.
Resolved that the city of Portland County Council does revise permits as described below by issuance of the city clerk. That's the 9/11 ceremony on September 11th. From 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. at Courthouse Park. That's being issued for special events on the vice permit without fee and street closure on Church Street from Central Ave to Port Watson Street.
Motion. Got one. Questions?
Councilmember Worker. Aye. Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Conlon.
Aye.
Councilmember Carlton.
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Agenda item number 4, approve special event permits for the Crown City Latinx Festival on September 20th.
Resolved that the city of Portland County Council does hereby approve permits as described below or issued by the city clerk. Issued on fulfillment of applicable state and local code requirements. The event is the Crown City Latinx Festival, September 20th, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Around a parking lot. Partner and sponsors are the City of Portland Cultural Life and Diversity Office, the Latino, Latin American, and Caribbean Studies Program, as well as the City of Portland. Issuing permits for special event, sound device permit without fee. Partial closure of the Grand Am parking lot until 4 p.m. I'll note there that 22 parking spaces adjacent or closest to the Hollywood restaurant will remain open throughout that event. Parking lot is expected to be fully reopened by 4:30.
Motion. Lane. Beckwith. So I'm excited about this. Is dance lessons there, right? Very,
Oh, sorry, go back to it.
very. I say this. Dance.
Oh, I don't know how to put it.
Yeah, you said that. IJ, so I get on for.
Yeah, it's gonna.
Definitely not very well. There will be, what's it, lot most of that?
Yeah.
Councilmember Burger. Aye. Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Aye. Member Carpenter. Councilmember Beckwith. Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Agenda item number 5, approve special events permit for our show at Eden Park at September 27th, 2025.
Resolved that the city of Portland County Council does hereby approve permits as described below. For issuance by the city clerk, condition of fulfillment of applicable state and local code requirements. The event is the Empire State Subaru Car Show. by the Empire State Suites Club, September 27th, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. in the part of the parking lot. Permits being issued for a special event and sound device permit without fee.
Motion. Director, amazing what they can do with those students. Check it out. Okay, vote please.
Councilmember Martin.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Fountain.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter.
Aye.
Member Beckler. Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Agenda item number 6, do special events permits for the Guthrie Portland Trick or Trot. October 26, 2025.
Resolved, the city of Portland County Council has hereby approved permit as described issued by the city clerk. Issued on fulfillment of applicable state and local code requirement. The events conducted in Portland Trick or Trot time K, October 26th, from 9 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. Then go from Guthrie to Portland, down Laurel Ave, around the Study Park vicinity, back to the hospital. Issuing simply a special event permit, no road closure restriction. That nature.
Record, so it's be a good time to use that. To pave the trail, there's a chance of there, the fish to open, have over in Saturday Park, there's a trail to on the stream, pretty area, and let people enjoy that area. We accessible now, we have that, they will site that area, so I'm sure they run down that area, but it's not even about the stress that you guys can walk around that part of this. Most parks, so. And hold it, please.
Councilmember Worker.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Conlon.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter. Member Beckler. Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Agenda item number 7, accept and recognize donations to police.
Resolved that the city of Portland County Council on behalf of the mayor and the police department expresses its gratitude for the generosity of the journalistic law and any further resolve. Town council hereby accepts the following donation to be appropriated to the town and for the purposes below. Donation in the amount of $200 from Elizabeth Bashian. Should practice that. Thank you. For the donations made for the purpose of the K-9 program. And being deposited into the K-9 fund account T101.
Partner, questions? Appreciate, their support. Okay, we're going to sure.
Councilmember Worker.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Conlon.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter.
Aye.
Councilmember Beckler.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Agenda item number 8, accept and recognize donations from Porch Fest to the.
Resolved, the Portland County Council on behalf of the mayor and the borough expresses its gratitude for the generosity of the donors listed below. In further resolved, the county council hereby accepts the following donations totaling $3,900 to be appropriated to the Bureau of the Towns. Donations other than youth for use to conduct Second Park upgrades. A $200 donation from Coffee Mania. $100 donation from the Clancy family, $100 donation from Mr. Alex, a total of $3,500 donated by Porch Fest attendees.
Excellent. Record. Yeah, what a great addition. Together, program that needs together, right back to us, and people just enjoy it, it's great. Thank you for organizing some place for them. Patience.
Councilmember Barber.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Collins.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter. Councilmember Beckwith. Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
All right, before we adjourn, the conversation, as you all, I think everybody got to receive the email, that's still meant as, had one with their second round of cancer treatments. She was hoping to be here, she was asking to speak on her behalf, to say that, so she's, got some aggressive, treatments that are going, so it's gonna keep her from being able to be in general public, she's pretty intense, her house and everything, to maintain that, so thoughts, prayers, foremost. So, well, with that, we're excited that a lot of modern medicine and older people along to get that towards a better and quicker, better, and so we look forward to that outcome. Do that. She wanted to be ahead of it and make sure everybody hears the what's going on and help make the decision and discussion on what would be the best to her constituency to continue or how that would be best served. So with that, I asked, Brandon to look into what the legalities behind it are. The section 103A has changed since, even the last redo, it's changed again. So, I asked Mr. Randall to do that, and then maybe he could explain the process that I would like to go forward with your consent, and those reports happening, so we can make, remote meetings happen, from a legal point of view. There is the people's ways of that.
Sure. The open meetings law is Article 7 of the Public Officers Law, and that does authorize local municipalities to approve meetings by video conference for members who are unable to attend due to disability, illness, or care of a family member, or for other exigent circumstances. In order for us to accomplish that, we would need to set a public hearing to adopt the local law, and then pass rules and regulations for the council that would govern how that would take place. That would allow Ms. Silman to attend the meetings virtually and to vote virtually. It would also allow residents who are unable to attend the meetings to have privilege of the floor virtually, as part of it. So it kind of does two good things moving forward. Unfortunately, it's a bad thing pushing us to do this, but it does provide greater accessibility to the constituents throughout the city as well. I could have a local law ready for next meeting if you want to do a motion to adopt a public hearing for next meeting. So then we could file it with the Secretary of State, and then Ms. Silman will be able to attend and vote starting in October.
Would citizenry also be allowed to speak in that means during the 3-minute period?
The privilege of the floor, which I just mentioned, would be available to people
Thank
online
you.
as well.
I'm sorry, I missed
Yep.
that.
Nope, that's okay.
We do honor that now, to make it a voting member, having been present. There's a bunch of other requirements that we have to do, so would be our intent to be ready by October, but.
Yeah.
Right, I'm checking the law, so with that explanation, if anybody has any questions, otherwise, I could entertain a motion. Open a public hearing for our next meeting. Mr. Connell, Slane, to, make a motion to move to the next meeting, so we can have that public hearing, and then I know that's typically I like to have that. Was more than that, but I think in this case, I think it's. Well, Mr. Wilson, get that drafted, get that out there, and I'll make that presentation. Thanks, sorry, thoughts straight around, yes, it's so much for sure, if you're family, that, and we'll, I think that, well, any, this is the motion.
Councilmember Murphy.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Cobb.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter. Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
All right, with that, anybody else, anything else for the resident, we're good, all in favor?
Aye.
All